Good evening, everybody. I'm Go Veer, Go Home, and welcome to Rail Talk Live. We are doing our group kit build. This is part 2 of the ITLA wood structure group kit build. And we've got a couple of guys down in the basement, and we're gonna get to work on that real soon. But first, obviously, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat, to everyone who took the time to show up a little early. Brian Ferguson, how's it going? Mike H.O. Trains, Almar, Sparky 107, Awesome Possum, and Anthony Borden, how's it going? All right, so we are going to get started real soon at Lynn McCurdy, how's it going? And Floyd, and Ray, and Dwight, how's it going, everybody? Welcome. Dylan, how's it going? All right. So now, basically, the premise behind this whole thing is that I normally do kit builds Saturday night. I work on graffiti, doing random kits and whatnot, but I've never done a wood kit. So I wanted to overall try my hand at it, but I didn't want to do it alone. So I put it out there. I said, if anybody wants to do a ITLA wood kit, and we had decided on the York Industries. This can be built in many different ways. It's a really good kit. And we had Nick from ITLA. He came on a couple of weeks ago and he gave a really insightful clinic about, ITLA as a company and, of course, how we can go about doing these kits. So we're taking what we learned and we're going to apply that. Speaking of Nick, we do have Nick here with us tonight. So if he's cool, I'm going to bring him up. All right, here we go.
Hey Nick, Chris, how are you? I'm good, thank you. How you doing?
Good, thanks. So this is week 2. We missed you last week. That's okay, but no worry, no need to apologize. But yeah, we're having a good time doing this, and we had lots of great conversation last week. So I'm very happy that you're able to join us tonight. Good. And you're going to give us some coaching, some tips and whatnot while we're working away here. How does that sound?
That sounds great. No problem at all.
Perfect. We got a few more people that are showing up. Stormy Sky, how's it going? So collectively we chose this kit. Now, out of your collection, because there's quite a few buildings that you do offer, where does this one rank? Is this one of your popular kits?
Yeah, it's one of the more popular ones, and it's probably one of the more versatile ones as well, Chris. This kit, as you know, builds in multiple footprints, but also brings with it a whole bunch of cool details, roof, wall, and ground details with it. So it's, in my humble opinion, it's good value for the money. Like, there's a lot there for you. So you made the right choice. I think you picked a good kit to go with. It might seem a bit daunting because it's a big kit. But I think based on what I've seen you doing so far, you got it well in hand, and hopefully we'll be able to help anybody that has any questions as well, and get them going along, and hope they'll try our stuff as well, and hope you're enjoying it overall, Chris.
I'm having lots of fun doing this because it's like, I've done a lot of plastic kits and they're whatever, but with the wood kits, it's a total different ball game, I find, and most of it comes from the painting. And I know I've mentioned in the past, but the way that the paint absorbs into the wood, it's totally different. You're working with something totally different here, and I'm really enjoying it. I like the overall look and feel. For those who aren't aware, when we were setting this up, Nick put together a discount code where we could order the kit. And he also included a couple of test pieces as well, so that we can try our hand at this, because brick is one of those very tricky things to get down. And I had fun doing even just the test pieces before the actual big project. So that was really fun to do as well. Now, I was talking with the other guys backstage, and they were talking about, well, not so much Sparky, but both Bernard and myself, we had originally decided on which style we were going to do, but then we ended up flipping the script altogether, and we're doing custom ones that aren't really from the book, like the suggestions. So
great.
these are some
Okay, good.
give us here, and you can do it 3-dimensional, or you can do it as a background flat. But yeah, a couple of us doing a little bit of a different one. So I'll bring in the other guys here. We can talk about that as well, and all the different configurations. So first up, we got Dr. Mini himself, Bernard from Mini Prints. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing? Hi, everybody.
Hey, Bernard.
Hey, Nick. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. We missed you. We missed you last week.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, I guess Renee won.
She always wins. You got it. You know how it goes. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And we also have Sparky, Mr. 107. How's it going?
Good day, everybody.
Is that Sparky I see?
Oh, I put these glasses on because last week Chris doing the bricks with the toothpick. So these are like my major bifocal, trifocal type glasses. So. Really, I can't see anything through these, but
perfect. Build by feel, Sparky.
Yep.
So speaking of last week, so Bernard had opened up his kit for the very first time, and he gave us, his first impressions of the overall kit. And then we were going over a few of the different footprints of the building. Now, you said that you had changed how you were going to do yours. Let's talk about that.
Me?
Bernard. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I looked. So my first, let me get my. So at first I thought I was going to do configuration number 15, which is this one right here. But then Sparky, you said you were doing that one, right?
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to be doing.
So then I didn't want to do the same one that Sparky was doing. Then I thought, okay, I would do one of the long flat ones. But then you said you were going to do one of those, right, Chris?
Yeah, I was looking at number 5.
So number 5 is
a little bit thicker, but
this
the
one
down
right here.
Yeah.
The second one right here. So I'm a bit of a symmetry freak. And I kind of like things all to be the same. So I think I might have come up with one that's not on the list, Nick. So I might have broken the rules here.
That's all good. It's all meant to be broken.
So what I'm thinking of, can you see this?
Yep.
So I'm going A, B, A, B, A, A. And then I'm doing the 2 B's on the side. So it's going to look like, whoops. What do you think of that?
Looks good. Yeah. Good size building. Yep.
Yeah. So I've got the 2 B's on here. Hard to see. So these 2 are the B's, right?
Yeah.
So then I got a B side on there. Then I got a B side on there.
Okay.
And then on the front, I liked the symmetry of the brick going right across.
Yeah.
And then that gives me, where's my ruler? Well, you probably know the lengths of all these things. It gives me a nice long building here.
Yeah, it's good size, eh?
Yeah. And then what I was thinking, my kingdom for a ruler. Oh, found it. There we go. So to my expert calculations, gives me something about 12 inches. So does that ring a bell? Does that sound about right?
It's about right. It could be even a little. Yeah, it's about right. Looks good.
So
and your
A,
depth,
B,
yep.
A, B, A, A.
And you
So
got 4-inch depth roughly, yeah.
Yeah, and then my depth exactly 3 inches.
3 inches,
3
okay.
and hang on.
3
I've got a B spot and 3.5.
Okay, good. Good chunk of real estate.
Yeah, so and then what I was thinking, so let me turn it around. So then this is what it looks like from the backside, right?
Yep, yep.
Pull back a little. So then there's the 12 inches across this side. This way.
Right.
There's my 3.5 this way or whatever. Then I just put a piece of foam core on
Yes.
the back,
It's a back wall. Yep.
back wall, and then a piece of foam on the top, so that it
Perfect.
would be a full 12 by 3.5 by 12 by 3.5. It's just because this is pushed up to the back wall, you wouldn't see it. But that would provide, I would think, the rigidity.
Oh, absolutely will. Yeah, no problem there. Looks good, Bernard.
So I don't think that was one of the designs. So I think I might have gone, unless, is it on the other page? Did I miss it? No.
Probably not. That looks like a new one to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think you got a new one.
I got a new one. All right.
Nicely done.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of building too. Eh? It's a decent size.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
license you the rights to this one if you want.
Okay, awesome.
Bernard, I like how you got the plain walls at the ends too. So
Yeah, well,
all
it's
the
'cause-
brick detail and everything else on the front.
Yeah, because I kind of wanted that unique strip right across. And then it doesn't look like there's much brick on this side. And it kind of, because like I say, I'm very much into the symmetry of it. I want it to be, similar. So what are we going to call this one? We'll call this one configuration 16.
Sure. We'll call it configuration B16. Bernard 16.
B16. Sounds like a new vitamin injection or something.
So what had happened with the loading dock? Because now you were looking into maybe opening up another section.
Yeah, so my initial thought, Nick, was I wanted the two loading docks on the front. Like I wanted the loading docks on this side so that it could be like a rail-served industry.
Right.
And I was going to scribe a new loading dock. So the loading dock that was on this B panel here,
Yes.
I was going to put it in this B panel.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Chris, on this configuration, it's just going to be the back of a building. There's going to be no rail served because I couldn't fit the loading docks in here unless I really cut a hole in one of these A panels.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a little tight in the A panel, though.
It's a little tight, yeah. And then I was thinking I could scribe a bigger hole from this door.
Right, or go to the right-hand side of the other B panel, the right-hand side of the entry door and the other B panel.
Here.
Yeah, maybe in there.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
But one of my questions for you, Nick, was going to be how easy is it to scribe through this stuff? Because it's pretty thick.
It's decent material. So what you can do is, do you have a razor saw, like a Zona razor saw? One of these guys right here. You have something that looks like that.
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. So then what you can do is as you suggested, rightly so, scribe that dock opening using the other wall as a pattern.
Yep.
Okay, and then you can scribe it kind of lightly with your number 11 blade.
So basically put it.
Yes,
put
yeah.
This one here on top of this one.
Yep.
Like that. And then scribe it out in this area.
Scribe it out and maybe pencil it first, then scribe it just to make sure you got the marks.
Okay.
And then what I'd recommend you do is drill some holes in each of the corners, just shy of each corner.
Yep.
To allow you to start the blade of the razor saw, and then work your way along those lines that you scribed. And you will have to clean up the corners with a file or sanding stick. And it should.
But I'm not gonna be able to fit the razor saw in that small little opening.
But when you you have to use the tip of the razor saw and just start to work it down the panel. So let me let's see if I've got something here I can just demonstrate with. If I were to hold my razor saw up here.
Yeah, I see.
Fairly well, right? So if I this is not going to be the right piece of material, but here's an example of a York building wall set. So if I were to suggest that one of these window openings was that dock you just started to describe, I would drill 4 holes in one in each corner, and then you can slightly start with the tip of your blade. You can work that down, and you can carefully start to widen or lengthen that saw gap, or saw line, if you will.
I like Floyd Robbins' idea better.
What's that?
Coping saw, a very thin blade, or
If you got one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's an excuse to go buy a new tool, right?
Absolutely right. So that can do, as long as you can cut a straight line, you should be good.
Did you say cut a straight line or walk a straight line?
Both.
All right. So then, to answer your question, Chris, then I guess the loading dock's back on.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You're gonna go back to the drawing board.
It's doable. It's not hard to do. I mean, it's the material's easy to cut. You just got to have the right tools for the job.
All right. Well, guess what? We're back on. I'm gonna go get a pencil right now.
Excellent.
Sparky, what about you? You've been hard at work. You were painting it last week.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep the same design, that building number 15 that we got, just because I want it to be rail served. I want a boxcar to come up to the side of it. So, get it up there.
Yeah.
And all the weathering and stuff I did to it last week using these weather mixes turned out really good when it dried, using the rust look to it underneath the windows and everything. So it'll be hard to see on the camera, obviously, but you look underneath some of the windows.
Yep.
How it's kind of deep.
Yeah.
Kind of changes the color a little bit. So
that's what you want, Sparky. You want a little bit of tone variation, and you definitely want to draw out some shadows and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One question I got for you, Nick, is when you design these buildings, what makes you come out, like Bernard is putting these end panels, the B panels at the ends, without the design and the brick on them. So
right.
Like panels here. What makes you come up with that style and not keep everything all the same?
Well, it was based on, a little bit was honestly based on cost, right? So all the engraving you see there takes machine time, which is cost. So you're trying to hit a certain cost target and reduce some of that engraving if need be. So that's probably, if I recall, that's what might have led to that. And the large concrete walls was also a variant that we wanted to introduce to that kit. So you've got brick and you've got concrete on the same panel, and then you'd have all concrete on another panel, which allows for signs and other types of treatments to occur. So it was more of an opportunity to add variety, I suppose.
Okay.
Now, mine's not taped together at all, but I'll kind of show you what I've been working with here. Because originally, like Bernard said, I wanted to do a background flat, but I don't have a layout right now. And I want to make use of this kit in one way or another until I can, move it to another layout. So what I did was on Thursday, I had started making a module, almost like a diorama. And taking a look at the diorama, I thought, with the rules of dioramas, you don't want track, because I did want to put a piece of track on it, right? You don't want to have it flat or square. And I'm going to just kind of tilt this a little bit for those who didn't see it. So I did this new technique that I had seen where you take cork and you put plaster over it, and then when it dries, you paint it, and then you break the actual cork, and it makes these really natural looking cracks, almost like concrete has broken. And they're giant squares, just like you would see, giant concrete squares.
Yeah,
and I wanted to put my building like right here. So the overall look of the actual building now has gone from being a flat to just the skinny part on this side, deep, up to two of the smaller walls on this side. So it goes on almost like a drastic angle here. But and then I've got all the flats in the front there.
Okay, very cool. And one thing I would encourage you guys also, and I know like Bernard touched on, the symmetry is cool, and people get drawn to that. There is another group of people that will like to see variation in the wall elevations. So don't be afraid to kind of mix some of those panels up in those front elevations fore and aft, because that gives you a lot of opportunity also to weather things a bit differently, and also to add details that would not normally collect on the front surface of a building. Maybe there'll be stuff that'll be hanging in the background or in like a corner or crevice of a structure, piping, ductwork, things like that.
So I've committed.
Right on. Look at that, Bernard. Way to go.
So there we go. So that's the trace of one of your B panels on a different B panel.
So one other lesson learned on my part is don't try to cut through the entire sheet of MDF with an X-Acto blade, because you won't be able to do it very well. So you can scribe the surface decently. You can cut edges with the number 11, no problem, but don't try to penetrate the entire 1/8 of an inch thickness. You'll break a blade, or you'll, basically damage the material beyond repair.
And what is the policy on a new B panel? Do you offer, when people screw up panels, do you swap them out or no?
Well, for anybody that does make a mistake, I'd be happy to help them out and replace the panel through natural causes. Let's say that through natural causes. If your dog eats it, I don't think I'm covered. But Bernard, if you make a mistake, no problem. I can help you.
Just curious. I don't plan on making any mistakes. I just,
and that's a good point you raise. And honestly, that is our policy. We'll replace parts if you break them through regular handling, or you're trying something like this. Happy to help you, no problem.
What I've discovered is that sometimes when I break or wreck something, it tends to be a happy accident, because it creates a little bit of a flaw that, I'm probably more inclined to make things a little bit too perfect. So sometimes that chipped edge is actually a happy accident.
That's good. And that's an excellent point you just brought up too. You guys are modeling masonry and concrete right now. And the one thing I recommend, and I've said it in the manual, I believe I stated in the manual, is to make sure you rough up those square edges, like on steps and on the edges of the buildings and things like that, because that's what nature does, and that's what weathering eventually does to these buildings, right? So that crisp, clean, just cast concrete look, you might like, and you might want to do that. Yeah, but I would, if I were you, chip it up a little bit. Enjoy the opportunity to modify the surfaces. That's the value of the wood, the modeling in the wood. And I think as soon as you start doing that and seeing the results, you're gonna it's infectious. You're gonna like it.
And how do you recommend chipping things up? Do you go in and carve it out with an X-Acto? What's the proper or a good technique for roughing things up?
So good question. So basically your handy number 11 blade is your definite, 90% of the stuff you can do with this blade, no problem. Sanding sticks are another great opportunity, again, stolen with pride from your wife when she's not looking. Just don't return it, because it gets pretty ugly. And, you can use some files, but I find that a sanding stick honestly gives you a better finish rather than a file. File tends to tear the material a bit. So, but it's a matter of preference. Use whatever you like. You can also carefully, again, be careful of your eyes, right? When you're cutting with the number 11 blade, in case you chip it. What I will do is, I'm looking for a piece of material I can show you with. But you can also, if you wish, you can also flake off some additional bricks. So
that's what I was thinking of doing, is chipping out a few. Yeah.
Yeah. And have you heard of something called a modeler's chisel? Anybody heard of a modeler's chisel?
I haven't.
Nope.
You have? Okay. So I'm looking for mine right now, because they seem to wander a lot. Here's an example. This is a modeler's chisel. And
oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So this tool here, there's a couple different sizes of it. This is the tool that would be really nice for gouging some additional detail into the MDF surfaces. Okay. And I think I got that from Micromark years ago. I think that was where I picked it up from. So there you go. So there's a couple ideas for you.
Okay. Just gonna see what I have.
Yeah.
I have an awl here.
Okay, that'll be great for starting your drill bit location.
Actually, that's true. Yeah, this is
Yep.
yeah, okay, so I'll need that.
Yep.
Oh, there are my tweezers.
You found a tool you didn't realize you had or you forgot about.
What I really need to do is find my number 11 blades, which are probably all in my office. Oops.
Oops.
Yeah, we'll wait for you, Bernard.
Yeah. Can anyone send me a number 11 blade quickly?
Yeah. So I know you guys have gone through the trouble of painting and doing all sorts of brickwork and all that, but just a little bit of it for the others that maybe haven't even given it a shot yet, I want to show you this panel right here. And there's not a lot of work done to it yet, but this is that same York set of wall panels. And all I did was spray this with the Rust-Oleum camouflage that we've spoken about. This paint, khaki camo, okay? And then what I did, the entire surface was sprayed, so no masking. And then what I did on the brickwork was I took the sanding stick, the beloved sanding stick, and I just basically across the model, I went back and forth and took some of that spray paint off. So now you kind of have a bit of a yellow brick showing through. And that's all that's been done to that panel so far.
That's really nice.
So there you go. So there's a very simple application. And in all honesty, I wouldn't mind leaving it like that and just building forward from there. So I just wanted to demonstrate the fact that you could, with a single coat of spray paint, get to something that's probably pretty decent. But you know, if you want to carry on with different layers, by all means do so. But if you're not too comfortable with that, that's what you can achieve with a sanding stick and one can of spray paint. One coat of spray paint, I should say.
I kind of went more of the way Rick or Chris did, because I used the gray on mine, but then I came back with a different color gray on some of the bricks and used the toothpick method and just kind of did individual bricks. I'm finding those are the gray on gray. You really can't tell the difference of the two. So
it's a little harder to see for sure with gray on gray. I'll show you, beyond to take that to another step. Like I just showed you the simple method, obviously really simple method. But, when you go well beyond that and you decide to throw different colors on, like Chris is doing with the toothpick and different.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And that's how there's probably 3 or 4 different colors in this surface. Okay. And then there's a little bit of mortar jammed in there as well. So you can see some oranges, you can see some umbers and red, maybe a little bit of red tones, brown tones, sanding stick. What's that? Sorry.
Oh, I said that's so cool.
Oh, thank you. But you know what? The step number 1 is the spray paint step, and then taking that sanding stick and taking some of that initial primer coat, I'll call it a primer coat, off, so that way you can get some of the tone variation showing through. So when you hold this up, you can see that base tone of red primer or brown primer has multiple variations in it itself, and that's just from a sanding stick and taking some off the surface. So you're
showing the red brick and stuff like that, Nick.
Yep.
Same kind of style work with like a yellow brick. I see a yellow building behind you type thing, but
yeah, they're a little trickier. I'll be honest with you, a little trickier to do. But again, Sparky, just like in this example here, you're almost at the yellow brick. If I kept sanding that down, I would almost call that yellow brick. If I kept sanding the gray off of there, I would get more of the original wood color to show through as a yellow brick. Then you could clear coat that if you wished to capture it or seal it in, and you'd probably want to maybe throw some of your weathering washes over it under the windows and things like that to depict some grime wash and things such as that. So it's doable, and the yellow can be derived from the base wood itself, which is kind of a neat little advantage.
So
I like the
explain to me why you can never find a tool when you're looking for it.
Yeah.
I have tons of sanding sticks, Because, okay, so this is a question for you then. So today's homework, or the homework for this week, was to read the manual,
Right.
which I didn't do.
That was from 2 weeks ago.
Come up with the footprint, which I did. And then I didn't have these for last week.
Right.
So I got
Nice
these
one.
now,
Yes.
and I'm going to practice on these. So that's what I was going to do tonight.
Perfect. Yeah, do it, Bernard. Yep. Perfect.
The only problem is I didn't read the instructions.
Okay.
So what I did was I just sprayed this with the Rust-Oleum red.
Okay.
Oxide.
That's fine.
And then I went back and I read the instructions, and I realized that I didn't undercoat it with the khaki. So I did mist it with all the different colors. So it's got a nice color variation on it. But
Yep.
when I take the sanding stick off this, I'm going to be going back down to the wood.
You'll get close to wood. Yes, you will. Yep.
Is
But that's
that
okay.
is that still going to give me an interesting effect, or
Yes, it
did
will.
I sort of screw myself up by not putting the khaki underneath the red oxide?
Not at all. You didn't screw anything up at all.
Okay.
Nope. You're going to be fine. And you did both panels the same way?
Yeah, I did, because I
Yep.
thought I'd try different techniques on both. So these are
Yep.
both. So what I did is I red oxide. So this was the Krylon khaki on the bottom. Then this was the Rust-Oleum. Actually, it was not. It was I found an old can. I usually use Rust-Oleum, but this was an old can of Tremclad, believe it or not. Red
Oh,
oxide.
wow. Yep. Okay.
Which I thought it's actually, I'm kind of happy to use it because I've never used it before. So I'm going to try that.
Yep.
Let me get rid
Excellent.
of that glare.
Yep.
And then I went back and read the instructions, realized I'd forgotten to put the khaki underneath. But then I put the black, the khaki, and then more red oxide on the light mists. It changed it dramatically.
Right.
It
Perfect.
made
Okay.
such a difference, because just putting the red oxide looked too uniform. The minute I sort of dusted it with all
Yep.
the other colors, it really brought it alive.
Excellent. Yes, you got it. That's
So
right.
now I've got to find my sanding stick, but I'm going to do something interesting that you might not have seen done before.
Okay.
So I am a huge fan of what's called speed paint.
Okay.
And I use speed paint when I'm painting my figures. Now, what speed paint does, here we go. I will show you very quickly if I have it. If you take something and you spray paint it black,
Yep.
and then you dry brush it,
Right. Nice. Okay.
you can see all of the little variations there. So that's just black with dry brush.
Beautiful. Okay. I love
The
it.
minute you throw speed paint on it, I don't know how
Yeah.
well this is going to turn out. The light is not great here. But what the speed paint does is it basically has all the pigment of a typical acrylic paint,
Yeah.
but it's very translucent.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's
Okay.
filled with pigment, but what it allows you to do, actually, I can show this to you on pictures. Let me do this for a minute.
Okay.
I'm going to pull up some pictures, and then if Chris allows me, I'm going to share them.
Okay. Give me 30 seconds. I got to walk over to the laser. Hang on.
Okay.
So the step I'm about to get to is all the windows and stuff. So I painted those yesterday while it wasn't raining. Then all the concrete framing and stuff. I'm going with the green, keeping with gray and green, basically. So
It's a nice green too. Do you use the Rust-Oleum?
yeah.
Nice, nice. Seems to be a popular one.
Yeah, I think it was like the hunter green.
Oh yeah. I wonder if it's this one. Hunt Club green. Is it? Might be this.
I guess I could find out.
I think that's what I use for my window frames, because they're still in the sprue, but I can spray them all. We're still in the sprue. I really like the way that it absorbs the paint. It's really nice. But I'd still rough that up still and Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
so the color I use for my building is meadow green. Is that even? Yeah, there it is. So that's the building itself. The windows I wanted to keep green, but I'm going hunter greens because it's a little bit darker.
Yeah.
And then when I was doing the building itself, the base coat of the green is just a matte green, flat matte green. So when I was sanding it, a little bit of the like flatter color came out in it. So I don't know if that's something Nick would recommend, but do like 2 different colors instead of just one all the time. Or
I'm not sure. When he comes back, give him a shout. See what he thinks.
He's back.
Oh,
I was just saying, like when I was doing the green on my building, I used a meadow green for the building itself. This is a hunter green I'm using for windows.
Okay.
And then I used a flat green as a base paint. So when I was sanding it, a little bit of the flat would come out in the green.
Oh, neat. Okay.
And I did the same with the grays. I'm using 2 different shades of gray too. So I was just wondering if that's something you would kind of recommend too, is using instead of one color, get 2 or 3 variants of a certain color to do it?
You could, yeah, you could do that. It's kind of like a military technique in a way, right?
I was thinking it would look more of the aging.
Yeah, it can, but the only challenge or the only thing I'd caution you on, Sparky, is not to build up too much paint thickness on some of the edges and the window openings and things like that. Not to drown out some of that or cause part fit issues. That's the only caution I'd offer. But I like your idea. It's definitely doable because when you lightly sand down, you're going to, hey, found his razor saw. You lightly sand down, you're going to pull up some of those other, you're right, the previous layers you've laid down, right?
Right.
That's cool. That'll work.
Can I share my screen, Chris?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
$5, but it showed up in the middle. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
And then
So that is a raw 3D printed barrel.
Right.
So then the next thing I do is I just paint it black. Okay.
Right.
Then dry brush it.
Right.
Then forget that one for a minute. This is what these speed paints do.
Cool. Wow.
So they give you all of the color, but you can see that they're incredibly see-through.
Yeah.
So that's what it would look like if I just used regular paint. So that's typical. So that is golden raw umber fluid acrylic. So that's about the best art paint that I have here.
Okay.
And the difference is if you just put the opaque paint on it, you don't get any of the detail. But if you put the speed paint on it, you get the color, but you also get these details. Whoops.
Kind of weathers it a bit too.
Yeah,
you get this kind of stuff showing through.
Uh-huh.
So what I thought would be an interesting experiment, take these brick panels.
Yep.
And instead of using sort of regular acrylics, start experimenting with these speed paints that are sort of halfway between, I mean, they're an acrylic paint, but they almost react more like a wash.
Nice. Okay.
So that's going to be, I think I'll do one of these traditionally with the regular acrylics.
Right.
And then I'll do one of these with these new speed paints and see if the speed paints do anything, if they work, if they don't work.
I like it. Yeah.
Because I'm in love with these.
Wow. I'd
Yeah.
like to try those. Where did you get them?
There's this thing that we have here called Amazon. It's very powerful. It has lots of products. So they're from a company called the Army Painter.
Okay.
And I know a lot of hobby stores have them. So I got this from the D&D people. So all the war gamers and Dungeons and Dragons and all the people that paint the minifigures are using these speed paints.
Okay.
And so that's where I sort of heard about them. I thought it might be interesting to try them on a
Let's
wood.
see what it
If
does.
it works.
I'm curious. What colors are you thinking of using there?
I don't know. I have a little bit of a problem with paint, and I don't know if I can. No, I'm not going to be able to turn it around. I'll show you my paint wall.
Meaning that your wife has a shoe collection, but you have a paint collection that.
Yeah, exactly. So my weakness, I love painting. I think it's becoming my favorite part of the whole hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I showed this to you yet. I kind of went a little crazy. I bought, the set that has, the Crayola set with all the colors.
Okay. Yep.
When you're a kid and you wanted the big box with every crayon in it.
Yes.
Yeah, I might have done that.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I'm waiting to see. So you must have this gigantic cabinet hanging on the wall with 500 paints in it.
Something like that. I'm looking for the picture.
Okay.
It was a treat. In a moment of craziness, I decided to. Here we go.
You treated yourself. Yeah. Go lay it on us.
So this is my treat wall. Hold on.
Holy crap!
Oh, did I?
No. You can see it.
I froze up on mine. Hold on.
Well, you know what? How do you know? Yeah, that's a good point, Sparky. Like, how do you know what to use out of all that?
You basically end up using the same 5 colors all the time.
Yeah. Here's my go-to.
But he can claim that he's got the most paints.
Whoever has the most paint wins.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, it was something I always wanted, and
that's cool. I like it. I'm gonna look at that paint brand too. I'd like to try that out.
So Speed Paint 2.0 by The Army Painter.
Cool. Okay.
And I started off with the I think it was like a set of 14, which is all you really need.
Okay.
And I think I got the set of 14 essentials. And then I liked them so much, I kind of convinced myself that it might be fun to get more. But you don't need it. You absolutely do not need.
So you bought one of each instead.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is a lot of the colors are so subtly different that you could just mix your own by adding, a little of this or that.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's going to be my experiment for tonight. Now I can't find the sanding stick. So may I use
sandpaper? Yeah.
120 grit?
Little rough, but go light. Go light on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And Bernard, go. Oh shoot! I should have grabbed my wall panel. If this is the wall panel, let's suggest that's the wall panel. Make sure you're going vertically and horizontally. Okay,
so not around.
Don't go around and don't go diagonally if you can avoid it.
That was me.
Up and down.
Sorry, Chris. I wasn't going to bring it up.
Guilty as charged.
Okay, that's good to know. So very light. And do you recommend north to south or south to north, or do you go like back and forth?
I would go very carefully north to south, as if the weathering is washing stuff down the wall. Yeah, exactly. Try that. And just go light and see what you got. And don't do the whole wall, just do sections, right? And see what it looks like.
Interesting. I'm not sure. Let's try this.
Because that's a little bit of a heavy grit paper, and you don't want to take the brick detail down or fill in the mortar joints too much.
Or do I?
I still have to try that technique that you told me about with the dry plaster, where it's just the
Yeah.
powder, and you
Yep.
kind of put some
Yep.
on your
Rub it in
finger.
with your finger. It's really easy to do.
I thought I had some of
Okay,
that
I don't know if
stuff,
you can see a difference. The
Yes.
light is crap.
Yep. No, you can tell already right now which of the two walls looks more, at the moment, looks more realistic.
left.
Right. No, left. You're right.
Right?
That
Wow.
one.
Our left,
Well,
your
that's-
right. Yeah.
Sorry, I keep freezing up on my end. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's good, Bernard. That's it. Yeah, exactly.
It worked.
Yep, perfect.
Now, do you recommend east-west as well?
Try a little east-west, but just do it in a small area.
I'm committing. Actually, you
Hey,
know what's
no- Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm doing the inside
Yes.
of the window
Yep,
edge,
yes.
and I'm doing it quite aggressively.
Okay, I can see that. You're trying to start a fire or something. Yep. Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'm not
Yep.
worried because I think the stains will get in there.
That's correct. And what you're doing, the cool part of what you're doing is you're knocking down that square edge, right? That really harsh edge,
Mhm.
which would be probably natural in real life. The weathering would have taken the edge of that down a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Spalling, et cetera.
Square
Yeah.
edges are not our friend.
Right.
Same with the windowsill, although we are putting things on top of it, are we not?
On what?
Well, I took the edge of the windowsill.
Yeah.
down, but we're putting things on top of it.
That's correct.
Because
There's
we
an
have-
insert that will go in there.
We
Yep.
have this here.
Plus you have a window. See where your thumb is? There's a little extra parts carrier. Yeah,
Right.
those two parts, you should probably punch those out. And you'll want to treat them similar to what you're doing. Rough up the edges a bit. And you'll probably want to paint the edges slightly with a touch-up paint so that
So that's an interesting point. So take the sandpaper to these as well.
sorry, to the MDF component that was at the bottom of the wall. Yeah, those are
Oh.
the still and the header punch out or
Yeah.
push out from the rear. So you'll want to address those two components with a little bit of chipping and sanding as well,
Yeah.
right? And then like Chris has done. So look what Chris did with the painter's tape. See, he gets a gold star for doing it that way.
I am amazed at the difference. I gotta get a picture of this and post it because you're not getting it as powerfully on the webcam, but the
Right.
difference between knocking it down with
Yes.
sandpaper.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this one looked really good.
It does. Yep.
It doesn't. And when you compare it to what it looks like when you knock it down.
Correct. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Very interesting.
Excellent.
If you had your choice of any sandpaper, what would you be using? Like a
I'd be
220?
looking like a 280 to 300-ish grit. Something like that would probably be a good all around sandpaper.
I do have that. I have the wet, like the 600, 300. I have all the wet dry downstairs.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe a
too
little
lazy-
too fine though. A little too
I'm-
fine, maybe.
Too lazy to go get it.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. I'm going to commit to both panels then.
James was saying that your speed paint starter kit starts at about $60. Does that sound about right?
Well, I think I paid less, but I think I might have done the old trick where you buy it in Canada but ship it to the US and you buy it in US funds. And is James talking Canadian or US funds?
I think he talks in Canadian, but
Okay,
I'm not
so
sure.
if there is an option, let me go on to Amazon right now and I will see. And there are always sales too. So Amazon.ca, speed paint. This has changed the way I paint
Okay.
to the point where I couldn't and now I can.
Wow. Well, thanks for sharing, Bernard. That's great.
It's quite nice. Okay, so Army speed paint starter set 10 times 18, $64. That seems a little rich.
Does it? Okay.
Well, I mean, that's what they're listing it at, but I think I paid like 34 US for like 14. So I don't know whether, let me just go to .com.
That sounds like something I would do. Pay 60, but tell my wife I only paid 30.
Yeah, maybe that's maybe. I mean, these things unfortunately tend to be very expensive when you buy it in Canada, and a lot less expensive when you buy it in the States.
Yeah.
Let me see. Starter set? No, the starter set is 44 US. So I guess it's just supply chain.
What colors are they suggesting are in there? Is it the
starter set has, and actually the starter set has everything that you need. Pallid bone. I love the names of these too. So basically it's a black gray, a good wood brown, a skin color, a sort of a tanny beige, a green, a blue, a purple, a red, an orange, and a yellow. And that's all you need.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's not too bad. $60 for 10. It's $6 a thing. The other thing is that these will last you a lifetime. Because I paint with microscopic drops.
Okay. So they go a long way.
Yeah. The answer is, why do I buy from the US when I'm in Canada? Because I buy from the US, I ship it to a friend or a family member that lives in the US, and then I pick it up when I'm down in the US. So if you are in the US or going to the US, it's often a lot less expensive to buy in US funds, ship to a US address, and then pick it up while you're down there. But that only works on the off chance that you are traveling down there, up there, down there.
Okay, that looks pretty interesting. I might give that a go.
I mean, it's an investment, but I mean, when you think about it, it's $6.
A bottle or whatever.
Bottle, and it's like everything else. It's a trial.
If it lasts forever, $6 isn't that much.
There really is no true white. They do have here.
Well, you shouldn't really use a true white, I don't think, anyway. Personal opinion.
They have something in one of the sets called Holy White.
Okay. There's a joke there, but I'll not say it.
It's more of a gray.
Yeah, it's going to be an off-white, right? So
yeah. So now the question is, so here they all have great names. That's what I love about these. You know, it's called like Orc's Blood and like Dragon Scales and I don't know what's Lava Orange, and what are some of the good ones? Barbarian Flesh. I love that one. So you're not going to have your James, Warhammer type stores will have these. And the other thing too is, if you want to, these are about $6 a bottle. So what I did before I did any of this is I bought one bottle. I spent $6 on it. I bought one bottle. The bottle I bought was a blue for blue jeans. I instantly tried it, realized how powerful it was to be able to see the shading through. So the one bottle led to the, I guess, 10 or 14 bottles, which then led to the Wall of Shame.
Nice. I see there's an airbrush set as well.
I can't stand my airbrush. I have a very contentious relationship with my airbrush.
Have you tried one of these yet?
The issue I have with my airbrush, no, I haven't, but the issue is I just don't like cleaning things, and I spend 5 to 10 minutes cleaning for 30 seconds of spraying.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I hate cleaning, but this is a lot quicker. The cleaning, I guess, is similar to what we would do with the old airbrush with the hose and all that.
Right.
This is a little quicker, but similar principle. But if you're painting with acrylics, you're almost washing water through this thing instead of solvents. But
Well, and that's the beauty with these speed paints. I mean, the speed paints go on like a wash.
yeah, so this, I'll bet you this thing would work really well with that stuff.
Probably, yeah.
Just saying.
Well,
Yeah.
the beauty of the speed paints, and the problem that I find that most people make, not that I'm any expert, is that they take craft store acrylics and they glob them on.
Right.
So basically, you get what I call blob band. You know, when you're doing a face or anything, you're painting with so much paint that it completely destroys any of the detail underneath it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then my answer to that was to water down the acrylics.
Right.
But then the problem with making a sort of a water wash with acrylic paint is you don't have the pigment load. You're dispersing the pigment, so you get the viscosity and you get the opacity or the translucence,
Yeah.
but then you don't have the pigment load. So all
Right.
you're doing is basically just thinning it out. So
Yeah.
these paints have the viscosity and the translucent, but they keep the pigment in there.
Okay, good. Okay, that sounds good.
So what do I do with this now? What should I grab? What color should I grab? And should I wash it all over, or should I do individual bricks? Or I haven't gone that far in the what's your suggested step 3 after spray paint?
Yeah.
Rough up. What comes next?
So I would grab a contrasting color and I would touch up some individual bricks.
Oh, you're gonna make me work for it.
I'm going to make you work for it. Like, look
Should I do an
what Chris is
overall
doing.
though? Should I do an overall wash, or should I just
That
grab
comes later. Don't
Okay.
be too, yeah.
So what do
If you want to get it,
an orange?
go with an orange. Sure, why not? Go with an orange or you have like a darker red or brown.
Yeah. So we've got here. Oh, let's grab some reds. Ooh, aged tide's a good one. All right. So
One thing I got to say is there is an up and a down for these windows.
Yes, there is. The sills and the headers are different sizes.
I didn't notice that for my first one.
Did you jam it in and break it?
I did.
Use a brick filler and just close the window up.
all right.
They took some canopy glue and fixed it up, so it's not too bad.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
The other thing
Bernard,
I love about these. Oh,
I was
go
going to
ahead.
mention the colors that were recommended would be a raw umber, which is like a dark brown, a burnt sienna, which is like almost like a chocolatey rust, and then the other color that I got here that I'm using is a terracotta. So it's
See, this is
little
where
bit of
I
a-
get in trouble.
I don't know what you.
Well, like an orange. See that I'm holding it up right now, Bernard. Do you have anything that looks something like that? Like a orangey terracotta-y thing?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try. Once again, they've screwed me on the names here. That's
Well,
the one thing that I don't. Deep red. So here, let me grab an orange. I thought I had an orange. Here we go. Peachy flesh. No. What do we have here?
okay, I'll be right back. Laser's calling. Right back.
Okay. I'm looking for the perfect orange. Poppy red. No, that's a brilliant red. Peachy flesh. Here we go.
Hey Heath, how's it going? Willow Creek, how's it going?
Boy, am I going to need a small paintbrush for this.
Find a toothpick works the best. A paintbrush just gets all cloggy.
Yeah, now I just don't want to keep running downstairs. Let's see if I have any toothpicks. Oh, I do have a toothpick. Holy moly. Thanks, Sparky.
No worries.
So let me do this. So this is, what was that? That was Fire Giant. Oh, hi Heath. How are you? Fire Giant. Age Tide. I think I've got too many colors. Ruddy Fur. Oh, wow. Dark red.
I gotta say, these little window headers are not my favorite pieces to put in.
The archways.
Yeah. Well, the archways
Don't
weren't
forget
too bad.
There's two different archways as well. There's the ones for the arched window and one for the square window.
Burnished red.
But it is labeled on the thing there. Also, there's a cool trick. It doesn't really show you in the book, but Nick was telling me that there's these pieces that run vertically. And what you want to do is you want to put the piece that goes across the top first, and then put your section that goes from the bottom right up to that point in last. As if any of that makes sense. But it will once you do it.
Can you guys see any of those colors, or are they just too... Do they just not show up?
See all the colors.
You can see them?
Yep.
Okay, let me see if I can get some more light on them.
Like, as long as you got 7 colors there, we see them all.
Light is a challenge in here right now.
The only thing I'm finding a brush good for is any paint that comes out of the side of the windows or something. You can use that to kind of take off the paint. Or paint, or the glue, I mean. So.
Oh, good. Thank you, Nelson. Nelson said the colors turned out really well. So I think I'm going to be using Blood Red, Warrior Skin, Fire Giant Orange, Aged Hide, Ruddy Fur, Dark Red, and Blood. What's that one? Burnished Red. How's the laser, Nick?
It's humming along very well, thanks.
I forgot to ask you, have you named your laser? Does it have a personality?
Actually, I have not. They're kind of nondescript. One's
So
one's. I guess I'd call one the 300 and one the 100. So that's theirs. It's kind of their designations.
So it's not named Hal or anything.
No, I haven't done that.
So there's my color palette that I'm thinking of.
Okay, can you hold that up a little bit more? I like it.
Let me go full screen for you too here.
Okay, let me see what you got.
So we got Blood Red,
Okay,
Warrior Skin,
okay,
Fire Giant Orange, Aged Hide, Ruddy Fur, Dark Red, and this one is Burnished Red.
okay. So, and
I mean, I've got a lot more. But
That's good. No, I would start. Why don't you play with the fire? Is it Fire Giant?
yep, so that's
And yep,
Fire Giant is the more sort of orange of them.
yep. And let's try it on one panel first, right?
Yep.
Try the Fire Giant and the Blood Red, and
The Blood Red over here, okay.
Yep, try that. And I would also suggest one of the darker browns, whether it's the
Blood
boy,
Red. Okay, let me find
that Ruddy Fur. Is it Ruddy Fur?
Yeah.
You almost look like you wrote something else like Ruddy Fart.
The Ruddy Fart right here. Yeah.
Yeah, try the Ruddy Fart. That looks good.
Okay. Okay, so there are 3 wieners.
So what you do now, Bernard, is what do you got? You must have small paintbrushes. That's your line of business. Perfect. So take those guys and try to hit a random selection of bricks around the panel. So start with one color,
Okay.
and do about on that panel, target, let's say 12 bricks. Pick 12 bricks across the face of that panel anywhere.
12 bricks at total random for each color.
Yes.
Okay.
Random location, just throw on, just pick the different colors and pick the different bricks, across the face of that.
All right. And how's the light? Can you see or is it crap?
Well, it looks pretty good.
Okay. So you can actually see some light there. Okay. Here we go. And how important is it that I stay in the lines?
If you can stay in the lines, do your best to stay in the lines, just like at
All
school. And sorry?
Yeah, no, okay. I was going to say not my talent, but I will try and stay in the lines.
Do your best. I know there's a challenge for all of us. But are you using the paint full strength?
Gosh, yes.
Okay, let's see what happens. I like it. Go big
It's
or
an
go home.
experiment.
Yep. And I got to mention to everybody too, I'm looking at the chat messages as best I can, but for some reason I can't respond. So I apologize. Something's blocking me in writing a response. It's got something to do with YouTube.
You should be
So
able
I
to.
know-
What device? Computer?
Yeah, I'm on a PC. Yeah. So I'm getting an error message that says, I'm going back because I tried to answer you way back when you asked about skyscrapers.
Are you using the StreamYard's chat or the YouTube chat?
I think I thought it was the YouTube chat.
If it's just the stream that Chris sent you, that's StreamYard's?
Yes, yeah.
So if you open a YouTube window,
Okay.
bring up this stream, but just make sure you mute it. That's all, or we get a feedback.
Okay, all right. And that could be what's happening because I'm getting the comment that I'm getting is this comment has failed to post to Go Via Go Home and also to, I guess Bernard must be streaming this too to Mini Prints.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's preventing. Okay, so let me try that. I'll do that. And to answer your question, Anthony, just send me an email regarding those skyscrapers. I took those down off the website a long time ago, but some are still capable of being produced. They may not have fancy instructions or boxes, but I might be able to help you.
So what I'm finding is because this paint is so viscous, it's literally touching the brick and running into the mortar lines.
That's fine. Just try to keep it. Yeah, because what you're going to do afterwards is with a wider wash, you're going to tone some of that down.
This might be one of those instances where a more opaque paint is better.
Yes.
Because this is very subtle what I'm doing right now.
They look pretty strong though, right? The pigments they look pretty strong in those paints.
Oh yeah, they're incredible. I don't know.
Derek, I see Derek's. Derek said I must have a Mother's Day special on, one kit to everyone that says Happy Mother's Day.
just what your wife wants. And
exactly.
Yeah. I tried to get Holly to get a kit, but she's more interested in horse stuff.
We'll get her there eventually. Don't worry.
Gonna make a kit of a horse barn. That's all.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, there we go. We need a barn kit. That'll get her going. All right. So I don't know if you can see, but I put one drop.
Yeah.
There.
Yep.
And you don't like. I'm going to waste that.
Okay. Right.
Like, I mean, this stuff, you're using microscopic amounts of paint.
Okay, so it goes a long ways.
I mean, from that respect, you're spending, $6 a bottle, but it's going to last you a lifetime.
Okay, so when you put out a drop of paint like that, does the pigment stay in suspension or does it sort of
yes.
settle?
Yeah. Well, these bottles have little. I don't know if you can hear that. They've got ball bearings inside.
Yeah.
So you're getting a really nice little nipple bottle with a couple ball bearings inside.
So then on when you've doled out that dot of paint on your fancy palette there, will the pigment stay in suspension for a while, or is it going to drop?
It dries out very quickly.
Okay.
Now I suppose I could be using a wet palette.
True. Yeah.
Which is probably the better way of going.
Yeah. But that's okay, though. I mean, you're just doing quick stuff here, too, right? So.
Well, I'm interested in trying this approach versus then I'll go back and on the other one, I'll do the.
With standard acrylics.
Acrylics.
Yeah. Yep.
And this might not be the right hammer for the right nail.
Well, we'll find out.
It's
worth the experiment. Yeah.
Exactly. Or maybe certain colors work better than others, or maybe you have to go over things a couple times. The other thing I find too is it looks very different when you photograph it. Your eye cannot usually pick these things up. The problem
I need a new kit. I don't like my green.
You had one job.
I know, right?
But Sparky, that's perfect because all you have to do is repaint it, because prototypically they probably painted it green, didn't like it, and then repainted the factory 40 years later.
Oh, maybe. But
you could go right over it, Sparky. Lightly, just dust over it with a different color. Mask it and dust it.
That's part of the backstory of the factory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I did want to be a little different, so
nothing wrong with that.
Looks good still.
Yeah.
That's probably as far as I'm gonna get it. Let all the windows and stuff kind of dry for tonight.
For sure.
Then worry about window glazing maybe through the week, and then I'm gonna be a week behind now when I come back. So,
No, because I don't think we're doing it the week we're away, Sparky.
well, the other guys got to catch up if they do show up.
All
Yeah, I
right,
really
I don't know if
thought
you
a
can see.
couple of
This
them
is
were
what
gonna
I've
be-
got so far. Can you see it?
Yeah,
Yep.
yours is looking good.
So that's two of the colors. So now I'll put the blood red on.
Now, I spent a couple of weeks driving around looking at buildings with bricks, and there's not a lot of bricks that I see that are like 3 or 4 tone like Chris and Bernard are doing though.
You're not seeing the variation?
Hold
No?
on, hold on.
But I'm looking at more houses and stuff too, right? So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
like, I'm not getting down into the industrial area. So
I disagree because I took a picture of the side of my house today. Hang on. May I share?
Yeah.
To your point, I thought it would be fun to take a picture of the side of my house.
Oh, we know where you live. Not just
yeah,
But
Sure.
look at the dark down here and then the staining.
That's
This
great.
is all the same brick from the same era.
Yeah, look at that, eh? That's great.
And then this is another part of my house.
Well, you got a coal door, coal chute.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, like I was going around the neighborhood today taking brick pictures.
Ha. There you go. There's a good one. Look at the tones
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
brick
So
shirts.
these are all within 1 minute of my front door.
yeah. I didn't get out of my car and go up to the person's house and take pictures. But
So I don't know. I think to that point, what we're doing here is very realistic.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
No,
And you
I
know
can't figure out like why would there be a wear pattern like that? Same face of my house, same exposure, same brick, same era.
So is that dark color appear anywhere else in your house? Not as much, eh?
Well, it's down here.
Okay, down below.
It
That's closer.
seems to be, I mean, it's either a variation in the bricks they used or a weathering.
Well, you got to wonder too when they were loading coal into that little door, how much got into the brick? How much was it
Yeah.
weathered? I don't know, but I'm just guessing. But something there. What's leaking down the side of your house that's causing that off-white colored stain?
This here
Yeah,
in the middle,
yeah.
there was a pipe there. There was a hydro conduit that I removed.
Oh, okay. Isn't that cool?
So this was a very, probably about a 3 or 4 inch metal pipe that ran
Nice.
all the way down. That actually it was a hydro thing that when we had the hydro change, they took it down. So the pipe had shielded the brick.
Wow. Okay.
From weathering
That's
there.
really cool. Isn't that neat? And you know what's neat about it too? It's not in not a straight vertical line either.
No, it's crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, yeah. It's all over.
Like the variation of pink he's got in there too, though.
Well, this
Yes.
over here. So this pink over here,
Yeah.
that was some guy tagged the side of our house.
Wow.
So
Oh,
this is me. This is me with the graffiti be gone. You can see I think that's like an E and that's a T or something. You can see letters
Oh.
in here. So this,
Okay.
you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 letters. So this is me scrubbing the graffiti off.
okay. But neat little ad though. I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could, if you want to be a pissed off downtown Toronto homeowner who had someone tag the side of his house, you can then do a pink smudge where they removed it poorly with graffiti be gone.
Yeah. But that's really cool though that you did that. I mean, look at the different colors in those few pictures. It's amazing.
Well, and so this, hold on, not that one. No, This one, and I
Yep.
thought there was another one. There was a third one. No, are my house.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah,
So I mean, and the side of this, that is probably 20 feet from there.
that's amazing.
And it's the
Wow.
same facade. So that's the same, what would it be? East facing wall. So this wall continues to that wall.
Okay.
So
Maybe it was coal for loading in that door back in the day. Who knows? Hard to say.
Bernard, maybe you should have said it was your neighbor's house, because now everybody says you should be power washing your house.
maybe, I don't know. I don't mind it, to be honest. I mean, there's no point because where's my
But
bread?
good discussion, because the point's valid. And the guys in the chat are mentioning the sources of the bricks and the clays that went into those bricks.
Yeah.
They're all different. They're all different within 2 hours drive of us. Right. So,
and I'm not a prototypical modeler, but I do like photographic reference, because when I make stuff up, I tend to get it wrong.
well, it goes to show you there's always a prototype, right? And nothing wrong with looking at the picture first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought the sky was blue and trees were brown, tree bark was brown and grass was green, but it doesn't actually end up looking to be the case.
True.
So,
last night the sky was multiple colors too.
Now, did you see it? Because I'll be very pissed off, because everybody seems to have seen it except me.
Sorry to say, I went for a drive and saw it. Yeah.
Oh man.
Wow.
Was it spectacular?
No, it wasn't hugely spectacular. The strange thing, it looks amazing through the iPhone camera.
Yeah.
So not the same as you're looking through your eyes. So it's the iPhone camera is enhancing all those pictures you're seeing.
Right. I went outside, and the problem with downtown Toronto, besides the fact that it was very cloudy when I went out at about 11 last night, is there's just too much light.
Yes.
But my social media feeds are just filled with some of the most incredible pictures. I am very, very, very jealous of people who.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, it wasn't as brilliant as you would see way up north, but it was neat that here it is down near London, Ontario, and you can see the northern lights. I've never seen that in my life down here. So incredible. Yeah, cool.
That's pretty spectacular.
It is.
Chris, Sparky, did you see them?
I didn't see them last night, but I have seen the Northern Lights once. That's probably going back maybe 25 years, and I was so far out in the country, and I think it's like a Boy Scout camp, and we were getting it ready for them for the weekend, and we just started a bit of a bonfire and looked up, and there they were, and we just kind of went into a daze.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea it was going to happen, so I didn't bother. But I did see a really cool picture that someone took not too far from me, because I've got that Smiths Falls yard, which is mostly CP. But there's some tracks there that were abandoned, and there's one of those bridges that lifts up. I forget what it's called. Somebody in the chat will know for sure.
Bascule Bridge, maybe?
Yeah, with that giant weight on the end, and then it just lifts up. Yep. So someone had taken a picture of that, and it's up because they don't use it anymore. And it's the Northern Lights right behind it, and it's like a silhouette of the bridge, and it was immaculate. It looked really
must be pretty cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Bernard, where's the orange there, Bernard? Did you use orange on that wall?
I did. So the orange is, I might need a brighter orange. So the orange is, there's the orange right there. There's the orange right there. That's orange, 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 orange.
Okay, you need a little brighter one.
Okay, let's go for, there's one called Nuclear Sunrise, but it's got it's got weird sparkles in it.
Oh.
I think I like it. I could go off book and do it. Yeah, no, this has got like gritty bits in it. Hang
Okay,
on.
yeah, you don't want that. While you're looking for that, Chris, what's going on over there? You've been quiet. You've been busy all night painting away. What's happening?
Well, I've added all 3 different types of color brick throughout, and now I'm kind of going back over it with the first color, but I really watered it down, almost making a wash. So I'm just
Yeah.
kind of going over it to kind of bring them together.
Nice.
More or
Okay,
less.
good. How's it looking?
It looks bad when it's wet, but I'm sure when it dries, it'll be more acceptable.
Okay.
Because it's just because of the wet paint, it has a bit of a shine to it, but it'll dull.
Right.
This is an opaque orange. This is right here.
Yep.
Is a Pyrrol, Pyrrol orange.
Okay. So that's going to be closer to what I use. This orange here is called it's a paprika acrylic.
Okay.
And this is the one that Chris, I know you couldn't find it, but the name paprika might not be there. But that kind of a bright, strong orange. Try that, Bernard. You might have to cut it with a little bit of water if it's too bright.
Although you know what, I'm not seeing a lot of orange in the bricks around here, so
okay, all right.
I might skip the orange if that's
Sure. No,
I mean, what I am seeing, I'm seeing more darker colors.
Okay.
And
Keep it there,
even
man.
like
That's fine.
peachy or fleshy. Actually, I have an idea. I want to try. It might be too subtle. Where is my here? I want to try this one. This is called Peachy Flesh, and I want to see what it's going to do. In the spirit of trying new things.
Okay.
It might be
Hey,
too
Lauren,
similar
how's it
to
going?
what's.
Hey, Doug, how's it going? Sorry, just more people popping in and out of the chat there. How's it going,
Ooh, I
everybody?
like this one.
Okay.
This peachy flesh is my go-to for a lot of things.
You've got mail.
That's my call to action. I'll be right back.
Time to feed Seymour.
Yeah.
All right, Bernard, I get it now, and I got the same goggles on that you got.
Oh, did you? Hey, look at that. All that whatchamacallit that I endured last week and you joined.
I went and checked out some of my paints, and I got like another 3 kinds of gray. So this one's a really dark. So I thought I'd try a couple spots on it. It kind of highlights it like you guys are. So I don't want to be left alone. No.
So this looks like a bit of a hot mess right now. So I'm hoping we're going to knock it down a bit. Definitely the risk. You can definitely overdo this very quickly. I'm going to forget which paints I used. Can you imagine if it takes that long to do one panel, what it's going to be like to do that?
Let you know.
Ah!
Do the big kit.
Yeah, really.
I think Sparky has the big one.
You mean this one?
Jeez. Yeah. I'm so left out. That should be the next kit. Let's do that one next.
I'm too chicken to open it.
Oh man.
Like I have not even unsealed this.
That kit is way too cool.
I'm not ready for that yet.
No? Come on, Bernard.
Look.
You're like pro.
I'm
Look
not
at
even, oh please. I can't even find my sanding stick. I'm not worthy.
So doing this kit with you guys is kind of the trial and error and see what I can do with it and everything else. And like I said, kind of learn as we go before I get into the big kit. But yeah, I do have that one to do next.
Ooh, nice.
Lucky.
Did I tell you guys that the mama bunny's been back?
Oh, did she come back?
Yeah, so you remember last Saturday night, I had told you that my dog ate a bunny, a baby bunny.
Yes.
The night before, and we were waiting to see if the mom came back, and I was kind of freaking out.
Yes.
So, according to my research and my expertise on bunnies, they're supposed to feed their young 2 times a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so our mother comes back every 2 days. So she's on a 48-hour feeding. So, but she keeps coming back like clockwork every 2 days, and she digs up her babies and she feeds them. And
Wow.
all right,
That,
I'm done.
That
for
kit
the
I
next...
just held up, this is what it looks like. And a friend of mine built this a long time ago.
Oh,
So,
can we go full screen, Chris?
Yes.
My God, Sparky, that's gorgeous.
this one I didn't build. So
Is that Ron's work?
yeah.
Which
But it's
Ron?
also got the Ron Perry.
Oh, I know Ron Perry. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
So he's got the dock details in there too.
Yep. So zoom in a little tight. Can you bring it closer to the camera, or
Where do you want to see?
the brick colors that he used? There you go. Okay.
Turn your light down, Sparky. You've got a lot of light that's blowing it out. See if you can angle your light away.
It's the angle or the light from the screen, I think.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it?
Okay.
That's better. Get closer. There. Perfect.
There you go.
Stop moving.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm holding it up in the air, man.
So
Brace.
that's great. So look so Ron did not use a lot of different colors there. That's just 1 or 2 primary wall colors with a bunch of weathering on board.
See, I like that. Oh, that's
Yep.
perfect, Sparky.
There you go.
Freeze.
Yep. So you see the dark marks, Bernard, that's just a wash of burnt umber or something just for staining, for weathering effect.
Yeah.
But the brick tones itself, that's just your standard spray painted brick tone.
I kind of like that a little bit.
Yep. It's
Oh, that's
easy.
nice work.
It's not hard to do, but it's good work. Yeah.
Now, which kit is that?
That's the Allstate machine kit.
That's really nice. He did a good job on that.
Yeah. And it looks like he did his own sign up above, something Transformer Company. Looks like it's a stencil that he might have used.
That's perfect, Sparky.
Oh, my camera doesn't like that.
Wow. So yeah, you'll see there's not a lot of not a lot of tone variation in that brick. So it's pretty simply done, but good.
But the weathering makes it effective.
Exactly. Yep.
The weathering on this is also age. I've had this one for probably 6 years. So.
Oh wow.
So it's naturally weathered.
There you go.
Like this kit might have came from before you had it, Nick.
Yeah. No, actually, that's my time. I created that kit.
Is it okay?
Yeah, that came after I bought the company. That was probably one of our first big kits.
How do you decide what kind of kit you're going to do or produce? Or
that's a great question, Chris. It's kind of a crapshoot. I'm just kind of a lot of it is what I think the market would bear, the type of kit, and then what fits our portfolio. Industrial kind of rundown brick or masonry type structure. And if I see a couple buildings in real life that inspire me, that maybe that becomes an influencer as well. So there's no real science to it. It's just kind of a gut feel.
Well, I know you were mentioning skyscrapers earlier, and for me, I like the whole downtown Toronto look with, tall buildings and whatnot, but you don't see those produced from a lot of companies. So it makes it hard to obtain stuff like that.
Yeah,
take me
like
down
that?
there, Chris.
Yeah.
I don't need to be full screen anymore. I'm gonna get rid of this.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
So Nick,
yes, sir.
what do I do with this hot mess now?
Okay, the hot mess now, what you can do now is to start to apply a wash. Like what I would recommend, can you clear spray, or is that something you can't do right now?
I can go downstairs and do it, but then I've got to leave you and wait for it to dry. And
Probably
wait,
won't
hang
take-
on. What's this? Dull coat.
Will that dry? Look out. Get your safety glasses on.
This is going to stink, but I shouldn't be doing that here. But
We won't
Don't
tell
do that in
Holly.
the house.
He is.
there we go. It's dull coated.
Okay,
Oh.
perfect.
I can't stand the smell of dull coat.
It's tough. I can smell it from here.
Oh, you're going to hear people screaming soon.
Uh-oh.
Ooh,
I love it.
hold on.
That and oxidized red. Oxidized red is like the worst color. It smells terrible. Or metallic.
God, spray lacquer. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's dull coat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you got to get some of this next time. Are you using any of this?
I have that downstairs, but then I'd have to leave you.
Oh, okay. Well, use this. Don't use dull coat anymore.
This stuff is brutal.
Yeah, you're going to kill yourself.
I've just shortened my life by 7.5 minutes.
What are you saying to use? I missed it.
What's that, Sparky?
What'd you say to use? I missed it.
Oh, here, the one of the simple ones is Rust-Oleum 2K Clear.
Oh, okay. It's the same stuff I got then. So
yeah,
wait, just the clear or the matte? I use the matte.
Yep, that's okay. This is matte clear.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, unless you would prefer clear matte.
Oh, the clear, that's much better.
That's right. That makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
But the nice thing, this stuff dries super quick. So honestly, you shoot that wall and you can work it again in honestly 5-10 minutes. So that's what I do anyway. So now that you've got, sorry,
even just shooting it with that has knocked it down a titch. I mean, it still looks like a hot mess, but
that's okay. So now you're going to make more hot mess. You're going to take some of those same colors and you're going to create washes with those colors, and you're going to slowly apply that. Like if it was the orange you used or whatever color you used, wash that same the hard colored brick that you did. Wash around that brick with the color that you created. I'm not explaining this very well, am I?
No, the only thing is
create a wash.
Yeah, besides the fact that I put them all back. So let me find the ones. Here we go. Fire giant orange.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can turn these into a wash. I suppose you can. They're already
I hope you can. That's the theory behind it. I hope it can.
Okay. Well, all I'll do is I'll take a little there. I'll put a little water in it. Okay. I'll water it down. Yeah.
Yeah, slightly. Yeah. Now try to.
Am I going messy or am I going clean?
Go clean. Go around those same. So what color did you just make a wash from?
I don't know, but I didn't keep track of what color I did the brick. So I have to match each brick to each color.
Well, generally you would try to, but go ahead and try it. Go ahead. It's an experiment, right? So what you want to do is basically add wider washes of those three colors you just applied.
Oh, yeah.
Was Was that English?
Yeah. I don't know that that's going to work with these specific pigments.
Oh, serious? Okay.
Well, we'll see. I'm more a slap it all on kind of guy.
Okay.
But let's respect the process.
Yep. Like this process is a little bit involved, and I guess the point that I tried to make earlier was you don't have to go to this much detail if you don't want to.
Now you tell me.
Yeah. Well, I wanted you to go through the painful portion of this first.
So I see what you're doing. You're kind of feathering it out.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Okay. So the way that when Sparky held up Ron Perry's work, that was more of probably a more general approach, a basic approach.
Which, given the fact that I'm a very impatient person, I think that might be a better approach for me.
Okay. So on your second wall panel, we'll stick to that approach.
Yeah. So it's interesting though. I see the feathering out thing. So I'm doing it. I'm just kind of doing it more. I'm doing like every color on every brick more.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, widening it out a bit.
But I'm like doing the orange on all the bricks, and then I'm going to do the brown on all the bricks.
Okay, so when you do that, you might, well, let me see what your opinion is going to be, but you might start to lose the color differential.
It's kind of what I want.
Okay.
A little bit.
All right.
But I'm playing, right?
Yep, that's all good.
I don't know.
It's all good.
Let's see. It's hard to tell while it's wet.
It is. Do you have a hair blower there?
Yep.
It was a really personal question, wasn't it?
I don't know if you can see it.
Yep. There it is, starting to tone down a bit, right? So it's not looking as pukey as it did prior to.
It was looking rather pukey. I need I forget what colors I used. I used Fire Giant, yeah. Did I use Warrior Skin?
You used
I used the Ruddy Fur.
That's right. And then, by the way, you notice the stone foundation on that wall panel?
I noticed that.
Yeah, so then you can treat that similarly with gray tones and some lighter brown tones. And you'll be surprised at how that'll make the foundation pop a little more.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be the good old fashioned, like brown wash.
Yes, it can be, but you could also tone a few of those stones different colors.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised at what that'll do for you.
It's amazing. If you respect the process, it's working. It's actually toning it down quite a bit.
There you go. Awesome.
Color me skeptical, but I'm a convert.
Good man.
It's working.
All right.
So the gray was the concrete gray I used, I felt was a little too bright. So I put the wash over it and then I wiped it down, or wiped it kind of like this, pulling it down.
Excellent.
And it kind of made it look not streaky so much, but it did darken it a bit and make it look a little bit dirtier.
Excellent, Chris. Yep. That's the way to do it. I love it.
I like it dirty.
Dr. Minnie likes it dirty.
Dr. Minnie likes it dirty.
I'm eventually going to call him Dr. Dirty, though.
Only it shows.
Did I ever tell you the original name of my company?
No. No.
This should be good.
I'm afraid to ask.
Well, so I was going to start making, before I came up with the idea of mini prints, I was going to start making flat car loads.
Oh, yes. I know where this is going. Okay.
And so I did the beaver, right? And I got into 3D printing, and then I started to do flat car loads. And I was doing things like, what do you call those things that the oil refineries have, like cracking towers and...
Yep. Transformers.
Well,
maybe?
big long things that had like
Oh, okay.
metal gaskets and tubes and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I was looking at all these like very large freight car loads. So I was going to call the company Big Loads, LOADZ.
Oh, jeez.
Gee, why didn't you?
And then I Googled it to see if it was available. Well, that's why I decided to go with mini prints.
So was the name available?
I'm not going any further with this story.
You got a visit from the RCMP after that?
No, but mini prints. So I'm actually thinking
Yep.
that this, to my eye, and I don't know what you're seeing because I can't see what you're seeing, but this, to my
Okay.
eye,
Yep.
is
Looking
looking like it's looking okay.
And let the paint dry a little bit too, right? So it's probably still a bit moist,
No, that's no fun. Come on.
but it's looking good.
I want to rush things. I'm very impatient.
Well, but I'll be honest with you, a lot of these processes are fairly quick. And that's the one thing I've learned with my time in this company, that I thought that the process was going to be very time consuming and laborious and whatnot. But there are ways you can do this stuff very quick. The spray paints, honestly, are the simplest and quickest way to go. You could brush paint. There's nothing wrong with that. But if speed is something that you value, you can't beat the quick shot out of the spray can. It does the job.
What? It's not speed as much as it is impatience.
Okay.
And that's my biggest challenge as a modeler.
I would say it depends on how much detail you really want to put into it. Like, I could have stopped with the gray the way it was.
Yep.
But watching you guys go individual bricks and stuff like that, and just adding, it's called asphalt gray, which is almost like a black.
Yep.
Really adds some highlights to it. So
it does. No, well done. That's great.
Little
That's a good color. So did you use the Woodland Scenics asphalt gray?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little secret weapon, isn't it?
Yeah, that turns out really nice.
It does.
It's not quite black, but
yeah, it's gray black. Gray black. Yeah,
that is going to take some time to do that with a toothpick.
Well, but it's again a matter of preference, right? If you really want that, then go and do that. It's not too big a deal. But the other thing that I explained this to Chris a little bit too offline. The reason I asked Bernard to just do like a dozen bricks in each color is because your mind and your eye sees the little slight differences in those bricks and automatically thinks the whole wall's been, wow, look at all the multicolors on this wall. But in reality, you might have only done, like a few dozen or 2-3 dozen bricks. So your eye gets tricked into thinking the whole wall's treated like that.
Are you screwing with my mind, Nick? Are you playing
I'm drinking beer right now, but hopefully not.
Surprised Minnie doesn't have a beer with him.
Minnie has already had a beer. Minnie's trying to cut down a little bit. 1 beer a night max. And not even that. I'm trying to do even.
What did I do?
Yeah, you made up a big batch of paint.
For what?
Oh, what are you doing? You look like you made a batch of brown, yellow paint or something. And
oh, this is the burnt sienna. So I started with the dark, and now because I've got these brighter colored bricks in here, I wanted to kind of put this brighter orange right where the little orange bricks are, and then it collects around and it kind of runs down, and you'll see I've got it propped up, and it's going to run a little bit down.
Yeah, I love that technique.
So you're doing a wash with it.
Yeah, and he's washing
a little bit.
So then that color will collect in the mortar joints too, and it's kind of a neat little effect.
May I show you a picture? And so I find that if you photograph something, the way the camera interprets it, very different than the way your eye sees it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
One is the panel that I did not touch. So one is simply the panel that was scratched up.
Right.
painted and then scratched, and then the other one is the panel that has now had the bricks and the washes applied.
Oh,
I have
nice.
no idea which one I like more. They both look really good.
Yeah, they both look good.
Yeah, that's great, Bernard. Excellent work.
And
It's
showing pictures of your house earlier, Bernard, that even going side by side would look right.
Yeah,
Mm.
well done.
That's just it. I mean, it's really quite interesting. I mean, there is no right and wrong, I guess.
You're absolutely correct. There is no right and wrong. And honestly, you just got to try. And if you mess it up, I mean, you can either shoot another coat of paint over top, or if you totally bomb it, give me a call and I'll try to get you some other parts.
Or here's the next thing, and this would be a really interesting experiment. Take it to the point where I love it, and then give it another sanded pass.
Yes.
And then start again.
You can do that. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely doable. It's infectious, I'll tell you, because you can keep adding more and more layers of color and wash and weathering, and it's a lot of fun. I guess that's why we do what we do. But
so when do I get to the mortar stage?
Well, whenever you think you're done, whenever you think you've got the wall to where you want it.
Now, would you do the weathering on the bottom part now?
I would, yes. And see the sill and the header that are still in the carrier there?
Yeah.
You got to pop those out and deal with those as well. Yeah.
So after all this work on this,
yep.
Is this a throwaway, or can you incorporate it into the building somewhere?
Well, you could. It's going to be it's only 2 stories tall, so it won't fit. But
Thank
you
God
could
it's
probably
only 2 stories.
You could maybe make a little corner bump out or something like that, Bernard.
Because you put all this time and effort into it. It's a shame to not throw it into the building.
Yeah, no, put it on a corner like back one of your left or right corners that goes into the wall, your layout room wall or whatever you're doing. Or is this going on your module?
Module, yeah.
Yeah. So put that in the back corner of as building fades away.
This is going to be we'll see. Or basically hey, look, I only need 2 more segments from you and I can build a tower.
That's right. That's right. I could sell you those $50 a pop, no problem.
$50 a pop, and then I put my little elevator tower on.
Just kidding.
So so then let's talk about the how do you just do quite simply just like a black wash on these?
Well, depends. What are you looking for in mortar? You like gray? You like white? You like black? What does your picture show you on your house?
I don't have that kind of stonework on my house.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to suggest that you try. You're gonna have to clear coat everything before you go to this next step, though.
Oh God!
But it's worth the walk. It's worth the walk downstairs to get that other spray can.
Okay, I'll do that.
To be honest.
All right, because yeah.
While you're doing that, do you have any plaster of Paris? Dry plaster.
Yeah, probably have Hydrocal.
Perfect. Bring it with you.
All right. So my entire life right now, I've got 1/3 of my modeling supplies up here in my home office.
Right.
I have 1/3 of my modeling supplies downstairs in the layout room. And I have 1/3 of my modeling supplies in the Mini Prince World headquarters.
Isn't that a pain in the butt?
Well,
I know I have a similar problem. Yeah.
It basically guarantees that whatever I'm looking for is in the furthest of the 3 locations. So if I'm in the office, what I need is at home. And if I'm at home, what I need is in the office.
Always the case.
It's not fun. Okay, I'm going to go clear coat this.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go and see what I have in terms of white powdery substances.
That are legal.
Absolutely.
Just making sure.
Nick, I'm not sure if I've ever asked you, but do you have a layout?
I do have a layout. Yes, sir.
So my follow-up question would be, what do you run?
What do I run in terms of what am I modeling?
Yeah,
kind of?
like road names.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I am, because I'm older than you guys. I model the transition area, and I model the Algoma Central Railway
Oh.
in October of 1952 specifically. And the reason for that is that it's the transition period for that railway when they fully dieselized by the end of 1952 and pushed all their steam engines into the steel mill furnaces at Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
I feel
So
like
yeah, that's what I've been doing for all my years here. The layout that I've got in the basement here is about 28 years old, I think. Incomplete, of course. And it basically stopped dead in its tracks about 12 years ago when we bought this business and changed focus. So I'm just enjoying some time back with it now. I'm starting to get my a little bit of time back and work on a few projects here and there. The funny part is that I bought this company with the pretense of building structures for my layout, and that's the business turned into what you guys see now. So that took all my time, and that's where we are at the moment.
So you bought this from Imagine That Laser Art and just called it ITLA?
Yeah, so basically we bought Imagine That Laser Art from Mark and Laura Williams down in Windsor, Ontario, so my old hometown.
Yeah, I've been down to meet him a couple times. So
Yeah, nice guy, and amazing work the guy did. Like, he's just an incredible. I'll call him an artist because that's really what he is. He's an artist. He's a fine artist and does bronze sculptures and stuff like that. That's his real passion.
yeah, his front yard's full of them.
Yeah. So he's done a bunch for the city and down there too. Large full size sculptures of like General Brock and Tecumseh and the War of 1812 and stuff like that. But anyway, he ended up buying. He was a tool and die maker for Ford in Windsor, and he bought himself a laser cutter way back in 2008 ish. And was starting to play around with some stuff because his dad was a model railroader who lived over in Michigan. So he was making stuff for his dad, making little kits, and he enjoyed the tooling and the machinery part of it. And that kind of grew into, hey, this could be a business thing. And he created Imagine That Laser Art and started to sell kits. And they ended up down at the Milwaukee show, and they did a whole bunch of traveling on the road. Went to Springfield way back in the day too. And then 2012 is when he contacted me through a mutual friend who thought that, hey, here's a guy that would probably do a good job with your business and take it forward. A lot of long story here and there, but we did end up buying the company. Renee and I did, and ITLA stands for Imagine That Laser Art. And the Scale Models Incorporated is the new company name as of 2012. So that's where we are today, 2024, still making it happen, I guess.
So did you get all his kits from him or all his plans and stuff at the time?
Yeah, all the designs came with it. Yeah, exactly.
So if I want the BX tower, I just have to ask?
Well, almost. BX tower is on my list of to-dos.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that list of to-dos is now 12 years long, but it is there. Interestingly enough, the Elgin County Railway Museum approached me last week and wants me to build some stuff for them, including the BX tower. So that may become, and it was my plan to make it a kit someday, and it just may get prioritized a little differently.
Well, I went down and looked at his layout, and that's where I got my St. Thomas station was from him.
Yes.
And he had two at BX towers on his layout at the time.
Right.
So that's why I asked if you got all his designs and stuff, because he actually
have. Yeah, I do. The only challenge is those designs have to be converted to run on the laser systems that I have here.
Gotcha.
So it takes a little bit of time, and then the instructions. The hardest part of, I'll be honest with you, the hardest part of launching and marketing kits is that you have to create a decent set of instructions and obviously packaging and a little bit of artwork that make it appealing. But without the instructions, you're you get criticized like heck. So you got to do a decent job on those. That's what I've learned.
Well, your
Who reads
instructions are
instructions?
amazing. So
Well, thank you. They're the hardest thing to do, to be honest. So that's how it came about. Anyway, so when the offer came, or the opportunity showed up, immediately in my head I thought, oh, now I can do all the section houses for my layout and all the engine house in Sault Ste. Marie, the enclosed turntable and all that kind of stuff, and I can do all this cool stuff. So so we took the plunge, and I think I might have done about one or two specific things for the Algoma Central over the last 12 years. And the rest of it's all been for the business, if you will. So, but no regrets. I mean, hey, it's been an incredible journey. I've learned a ton. And I've met a pile of great people like you guys, and enjoy.
Anyone famous?
A couple of guys famous. Once in a while you bump into somebody that's pretty neat to talk to. So anyway, and we've done some stuff for movie sets too, which is kind of cool. That was part of the business I never really envisioned. But
anything that we might have seen?
They're one of the ones that might have been something you saw. I don't know if you remember. Oh man, it was a Western movie, and it was oh shoot, I'm trying to remember the name of it now. It's like there's a bunch of wagons anyway, little wagons we had to provide to them so they could blow them up in the scenes.
Wild Wild West?
Almost. It was something else down. There were 7 guys, like 7 characters in the movie or something.
Oh, the Dirty 7 or something.
Something like that. Like that. So anyway, there's things like that pop up. We did some stuff for commercial out in Europe. Actually, there was a company that contacted us. We had to send them a bunch of building kits so they could build some scale representation they used in a commercial. So kind of things like that pop up now and again. Are pretty cool. So
I take it you sell worldwide.
Cool.
Yeah, we're worldwide for sure, and that's the power of the internet, right? So
where's your biggest market?
Our biggest market is the U.S. I would suggest to you that I would say 95+% of our business is U.S. based. And if I look at our map, the majority of that is in the East Coast, eastern seaboard of the U.S., and they're a little bit less out to the West Coast. But so U.S. is huge. And then we get down into Australia. We're down into, I'm shipping to Puerto Rico on Monday or Tuesday. Japan, Europe, all over Europe, France and Britain and Germany and all those countries in there. So it kind of almost everywhere. Not to Antarctica. We haven't hit them yet. Places that, some really cool places though. And then, of course, the fortunate opportunity we have to work with Rod Stewart has been just a blessing for us. More from a personal achievement perspective, and he's a really cool guy to deal with. So a lot of fun there.
So there's another question in the chat. Is Nick, are there any new releases for this year?
Actually, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff we're planning. I'm still kind of contemplating the priority of it all. There is a product line that we're going to be putting on. We had it at Springfield actually, and it's a cityscape, like an old downtown cityscape product line. Trying to think of the type. In Canada, think of we'd look at Orangeville or places like that. Cool little downtowns, 2-3-story buildings. Every city had them at one time, and then within that line is the back alleys of those buildings, which I find the coolest. So I love that whole downtown, old downtown kind of look. And my plan is to make and I know that Walther's Cornerstone does it, and there's a whole bunch of plastics out there similar to that. But I hope as you guys are appreciating, the wood kits are a lot neat, a lot more fun to build, and there's a lot of features there that make them a little more advantageous. including the separate window sills and the separate window frames and things that you can paint without masking.
Yeah,
So
I like the
that-
window sills. They stick out nice. So
yeah, exactly. So that kind of thing is coming down the pipe, this whole product line, and it'll be configurable as well. And my goal is to make it so that you could build the structures, as a fully walled, block, if you will, or you can segment them and make them into 1.5 inch shallow relief, front or rears, out of the same product line. So that's coming. That's a bit of work yet, but it's coming down the pipe. There's a few, I got to put a few things into different scales. That's always another challenge, converting HO to N or HO to O gauge or whatever. So there's a few of those projects that I think may market well. So I've got to chase those. And I don't know. That's about all I can think of at the moment. It's been a long day, but there's stuff in the background. And then all those jewels, from the previous company, Sparky, all the buildings around St. Thomas,
yeah,
like Roundhouse and the BX Tower and all those other railroad-related buildings, those are just begging to be modeled. So they're on my list.
yeah, I'm gonna end up scratch building the car shop that used to be back there. So. But I think he had a kit of that too. So
you may not have to scratch build it. But.
Oh well, you might get it up before I do. That's for sure. I got a really hard question for you, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
But yeah, like you go to the shows and stuff like that, like Springfield, and there's getting to be a lot of wood kits out there.
Right.
Why buy ITLA?
Well, as you're building our kit right now, can you notice a difference between ours and I don't know how many others you might have built though. Let me ask you that question first.
Yeah, this is my first in getting involved
right.
with wood. I'm always been plastic like Chris, so
okay. So the way I would answer that from a wood kit perspective, primarily all my competitors are mostly, like, you think about Bar Mills, you think about Foss, you think about South River Model Works, some of these other companies like that. They're all fantastic companies with fantastic product. A lot of that stuff is also period, 1930s ish. It's sometimes related to the seaboard. They're clapboard sided buildings and things like that. There's not a lot of companies doing brick and masonry in laser cut wood. And you probably, and I'm pretty sure you won't find anybody that provides you with the modularity and the thought behind ease of assembly that I do. So, you look at the buildings that they're in front of you now and the ones that are behind me in my display, and all these things have got the ability to be modeled in various configurations. They all have tons of detail, within them, and kits that are available with them that give you, I think, a lot more than the plastic model does, and that the other wood guys might. Yeah, thanks for holding that up. Yep. So there's an example, and look what happened here. I mean, Bernard came up with a new plan that's not even captured in my little. Right? So, yeah. So, and the other opportunity is so basically these things are configurable by design, and you can combine them. So you could take 2 Yorks and build a hell of a model, hell of a manufacturing plant if you wished. So that's kind of the advantage. We also, we're here to support our product. Like I said, if you break apart, we're here to replace it for you. So you're not on your own. So we'll do our best to help you.
yeah, no, that is one thing I've noticed going to Springfield and other shows and stuff like that. When you look into the wooden kits, they're very specific. This is the building you get. This is the area you get. It's normally wood cladded, like you said, and stuff like that. It's a very specific build.
It is.
A lot of them are not cheap. I got to say that too. And I don't know what they're like behind their product. I'm sure they're going to be the same as if you break apart or something. Most companies will stand behind that stuff, but you are quite correct on saying that modular basically is the way I look at your kits. You buy them, you can buy 6 of your kits and have 6 different buildings.
Exactly correct. And we're all going to build them different. Yep.
And the other thing I got to say really about your kits is they're very robust. Like,
thank you. Yeah.
You can pick it up. You could drop this on the floor probably, and not much is going to happen to it. I wouldn't suggest doing it, but
yes,
you can bang this around. And I have seen people build other kits, and they're very flimsy pieces, like your windows and stuff like that. But the whole kit is based on that.
Yes, exactly. And you have to brace the heck out of it and hope you don't warp it when you're painting it, things like that. Yep. That was a good question. Thanks, Sparky.
Is it Stephen Bennett or no? What's
Rob Bennett.
Rob Bennett? Stephen is
yes.
his son. Rob
Yes.
Bennett, did he not buy a ton of your kits and built that amazing transformer factory?
The Westinghouse Transformer Factory. Yeah, he holds the record for the number of those wall kits purchased and assembled into one single structure. Yeah, amazing work.
If you want to see, I think for my money, the biggest, best ITLA kit bash build, head over to the YouTube channel Stephen Bennett. Rob is the modeler, Stephen is his son. It's a fantastic YouTube channel, and he's got a beautiful series on building that.
That's good. No, thanks, Bernard. Yeah, he's done a fantastic job, and he's a gentleman too. Really nice guy.
Nice guy. I've been to his layout actually.
Yeah, I know. I'm jealous.
Seen it. It's wow. It's
cool.
Fully scenic. It's probably one of the most fully scenic layouts I've ever seen.
Neat.
And the way I know that gentleman is he builds the stuff that I build in real life in construction. So the hydro yards I put together, he actually builds the components and transformers and breakers and all that stuff. So.
Oh wow.
Okay, have you known him professionally, Sparky? Like, have your paths crossed?
Our paths haven't crossed, but we've talked in the past about product.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's really neat. Yeah, nice guy, heck of a modeler, and a huge layout, eh? Massive layout.
It's incredible.
It is.
It's not that far away from us, Nick.
No?
No, he's just on the other side of Lake Erie.
Yeah, he's about an hour and a half over from Buffalo, right?
It's not far. It's worth a visit, and I'm sure he'd love to show you his work.
Oh, I'd love to see it. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take Miss Renee on a ride someday. We'll go for a little day trip or even an overnight.
All right, guys.
Maybe we should hit that on our way back.
Am I going to do the grout on this, or should we save it for the next time? Because I'm getting kind of.
Yeah, save it for the next time. But did you clear coat it?
Yes.
You sprayed it? Okay, good.
I sprayed it, and then I went over the whole thing with a black wash. So I should probably clear coat it again because I want to get a little definition on the bricks.
Nice. Okay, good. Are you going to work on that foundation?
Well, if you tell me I need to, I will. I guess I am now.
Good answer.
Yes, oh Yoda. Yes, master.
Take a few of those.
So hold on. This is Nick's creative direction to me. Are you going to leave it like that?
Yeah, we're all getting little texts from him.
Really? That's right. Little subtle hints.
Good enough.
That's right. You can do better. So
you will do better.
Just pick one of those 100 paints off your wall rack there, and
I know I'm beginning to think this was a mistake. There's such a thing as too many.
But that's okay. But you see what I mean. Just touch it with a couple complementary subtle colors, like a tan, even, or like different gray.
Yeah.
And then you'll pull different stones out, which will be cool. And then just like your brown wash is always your go-to. Yep. Hey,
now,
good
my
job.
loading dock is getting a little puffy when I'm cutting it.
Yes. So that's where you'll be doing some sanding, a little bit of sanding later. So be careful. Don't get too close. You know, like why is it getting puffy? Are you doing that with a knife or your saw?
Knife.
Oh, yeah. Don't do too much of that with a knife. I thought I mentioned that earlier.
You did.
Yeah. I just got carried away.
That's right. That's understandable, though. It's fun. But that's okay. Just take it slowly, and worst case, you'll just make a little bit larger loading dock.
Well, what I might end up doing is I'll have to put does the kit come with something that goes around it?
Not for extra loading docks, but you might.
Not if you go off book.
That's correct. Not if you go off script. But you might be able to use some of the carrier sheet, the thin carrier sheet material. You could slice some of that up and use it.
There is. I see. So this would be what goes around the one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm trying to recreate something like that out of the carrier material.
Exactly correct.
Okay, I can do that.
You got it.
Got it.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, that was fun.
All right.
So, you guys are both away next week, eh?
That is correct.
Yes.
What I'm hoping because Mike and I believe John were supposed to join tonight as well. So if I get a hold of them throughout the week, maybe I can catch them up next week, and then that way we'll all kind of be on the same page more or less and keep chipping away. But we'll try not to finish before you guys get back. But other
it's
than
okay
that,
if you don't mind finishing mine, that'll be great.
oh no, I got my hands full here. I've started doing a little bit of the gluing as far as getting some of the strips on here, just to kind of piece it out and see how it looks when you cover up these puzzle pieces.
Yep.
So
Nice.
this is just the very end piece. So
Right.
that's my test for this.
Okay,
So
can I ask a question then, Chris?
absolutely, yeah.
Quickly, did you treat the edges of those pilasters? Did you paint those?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
So
excellent.
I had painted everything while it was on the sprue.
Right.
And then you had said, well, make sure you take them off and then do the sides. So I did do that. So I've got like all my little
Well
pilasters
done.
I put along a piece of tape, and then I made sure to
Excellent.
do the ends, but the back is still clean. So that's why.
Yep, that's fine. Yep. As long as you did your edges. That's great. Way to go.
Yeah. But
Love it.
I took your method that you had suggested, because it's not in the book. So I put the top piece along first, and then I butted the tall strip up against that, and see how it's hanging out at the bottom there, guys. You just cut that off at the bottom,
right,
and then that'll give you a good length, and then it hides also the joint there at the top.
Perfect. Nicely done.
But
I have a question before we go.
Yeah.
On your sample kit,
yes,
what's that very thin piece right there in the middle?
That's just a knockout that didn't fall out of the process.
Got it.
It's not a part, but you can use it as a part if you like.
Well, it's officially a part now.
Another question in the chat is just Nick going to offer any railway buildings like speeder sheds, maintenance of way buildings?
Well, we have a little shed. Actually, it was crafted with Bernard. There is a little shed. Not. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, it was the first project we did together because I wanted I wanted something small that I could give to the Mini Prince of the Month Club.
Yep.
So I commissioned that from Nick.
Yep. There's a little shed there. You can use it as a speeder shed. I don't know if it'll be large enough for, depends what kind of speeder you're running, but that little shed there is available. I was like, whoops, as I spin around. Look at that. Look how robust it is. It still survived.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a little, like a tool shed. We called it a tool shed, but I've seen guys throw a little hand car in there or a speeder as well.
That's cool. I like that.
Okay.
It's big enough for a 4x8 layout.
There you go. Yep.
Can also be your little layout room.
Ah, yes. Your Mini Prince 4x8 layout.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think I'll stop asking questions now and
let is there another one?
Chris take over. I know it's past 10 o'clock now, and he's been itching to say a few things. So give him back his channel.
I don't know. I've been just working away, listening to you guys. I mean, I do this stuff as well when everyone else is going live. I'm still working away at something, and it's fun. It's fun to me. But I like to be able to join in on the conversation as well. So it's kind of why we do this. We show up, we work on something collectively, we talk it out, we share tips, tricks, and all that fun stuff, and we have fun doing it. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Nick from ITLA and for providing these kits and helping us all the way through, and
my pleasure.
Being a good sport, giving us all that information, because it's first for all of us, I think, more or less, and all the help is definitely appreciated, so
you're very welcome. My pleasure.
And of course, Dr. Mini and Sparky 107 for joining and having fun with us and keeping the conversation going all night long. This is week 2, so I want you guys to have fun next week. Don't miss us too much. We'll miss you guys though, but we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks, and we'll continue. We'll pick it back up. Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks for doing this, Chris. It's a lot of fun to finally model again.
Yes, definitely is.
Not a problem.
And I like all the tips and tricks, like you said, the
Absolutely.
live stream and stuff like
And-
that. I was just going with the plain building a gray, but after watching you guys, the brick highlights and stuff, it's going to be worth putting in the time, and getting the tips from Nick there too is nice.
Yeah,
I
you
hope
don't
he's
even need
gonna
to read
keep
the-
joining us.
You don't
Good.
even need to read the manual if Nick's there.
That's right. It's all free advice. No guarantees, but free advice.
And also, I also want to thank everybody in the chat as well. Thanks for hanging out and sharing your questions and whatnot. If we did miss any, I'll go back through. I usually do, and I'll make sure that all your questions get answered next week. And if I missed anything, then I'll make sure to pass those off on to Nick as well, and we'll get you an answer if we didn't get you this week. But that being said, everybody have yourselves a great week. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
And
Everybody
happy
have a great
National Train Day.
That's true as well. Happy National Train Day.
All right. More important.
Perfect. You guys have a great night.
Thanks,
Hey,
guys.
everybody.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye now.